Hello everyone, welcome once again to another Power BI related tutorial by Sliding Scope. In this part, we will learn or understand Power BI relationships and data modeling. Although in other videos we have discussed this, but specifically we are going to discuss this in this part. Now, to understand this, we have a simple data set here, and that data set is sample superstore data set. It's a sales data of different years, and you can see this data set is available from Tableau, and we will try to analyze it with Power BI. And here you can see we have row ID, order date, ship date, etc. So for every order that we have their dates, and we have their what product was sold in that particular order, product name, subcategory, category is given, what was the total sales, what was the quantity, discount, profit. This type of information is given. We also have some consumer demographic details like country, city, state, and their region. So in this first table we have information of all orders, that's why its name is orders. Then we have returns. So you can see the order ID here, and if the order was returned, its order ID is given here. So these two columns are related to each other. So this order ID in orders table is related to order ID in returns table. So we can simply say that orders dot order ID equal to returns dot order ID. This kind of makes the relationship between them. So this way we can simply write it, and this will help us in understanding what is happening here. This is one thing that we have to consider for understanding relationships, that if you have multiple tables, and if in those multiple tables you have different type of different columns, you have but some columns that are common between them, so you can actually create a relationship between them so that you can analyze both of them together. Here we also have a third table, which is people table. So in the third table, which is people table, you can see we have region. They are kind of managers of these different regions or zones, that is west, east, central, south. Whenever a order is made, so customers city, state is considered, and we have different type of regions here. So here this region column is related to this region column in the second table. So here the second relationship that we have is orders dot region is equal to people dot region. So these two relationships are there. Now how, whether Power BI will be able to recognize this or not, is something that we are going to see now. First thing, open Power BI, and in Power BI desktop you can click on Excel workbook. I will provide link to this file so that you can also try and connect it. So in Power BI, click here and find that file, and then it will be connected. So find that file and connect. So it is connecting, and connection is being established. When this navigator will open, so you will kind of start seeing those three files here. So you can see order, people, and return. These three files are appearing here. This is extra, we will not load it, but you can see here in orders preview is being evaluated. Let's wait for it. So you can see the preview here, and in the preview you can see all the columns are being read properly. There is no mismatch in header. In people, you can see there is mismatch in column names. In return, there is mismatch. So sometimes this happens. So first of all, before loading everything, we will go to transform data. And when we will go to transform data, what it will do simply, it is going to give a open Power Query editor for us. So we can see there are around 10,000 rows. It is taking some time in processing. And now we can see So in returns table, you can see instead of returned and order ID as the column names are given as return column 1, column 2. So click on this arrow here and use first row as header. So this will fix this. Similarly, in people, we have to do this. So our first row, so now the names are properly visible, and in orders it is already correct. We will simply close and apply this, and then all the pending changes will be applied. Now after this, you will see obviously all your columns from different tables and their names are there. And this is the report view, this is the table view, and this is the model view. So when you will come in model view, so here you can see a relationship between the orders table and the people table is already created on the column region. You can see when you will take your mouse over it. But between these two tables, orders and returns, Power BI is not able to understand the relationship. So what happens, because these orders are either returned yes or no. So for example, let's say we want to see how many orders are returned, or let's say how many orders from different category are returned. So we will create a very simple column chart, and in the column chart on x-axis we will drag the categorical column, that is category name here. And if we drag order ID from here, so we will use count of order ID to count how many orders from different categories are created. But if we want to see how many orders are returned, if you will drag it here, so it will show you count of return, which in a way is letting us know how many orders from different categories are returned. We can also change them to clustered column chart, and we can go to visual and enable data labels to actually see these numbers. Okay, but how is it telling us? Because here it is just giving us count of return. Okay, it is not giving us order ID. But in order to create a relationship between them, in this situation it is letting us know. But in many other cases, let's say the data was given with returns as yes and no, here only return is given as yes, so counting number of rows will work. But what if return was given as yes no? In that case, without the relationship, things would not work. So we can go to manage relationships and click on new. In new, you have to select your first table. Let's say first table is orders, and we will select order ID here. And then you select the second table. Here also we will select order ID. So here it is many to one relationship, because one ID is present multiple times in the primary table, because in one order one can actually order multiple products. Okay, so for example, this, if you will see in this particular order, seven items were ordered. So when you will select this menu to one, make this relation active, click OK and close, then you will see this relationship is now established. This way you can analyze the data in a better way.